It is Monday, October 16th, 2023. This is another playoff edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. That is my good friend, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Dan is along for the ride as well. All right, we only had one baseball game this weekend. That was kind of weird, kind of sitting around and waiting for Sunday night and the start of the ALCS.
It totally got me off of my routine. I had like extra free time to do things, although my wife quickly fills that up, and then my kids' sports quickly fill that up. But I agree. But I talked to Jake last night about this. I love the fact that there was only one game last night, and you can just sit there and pay attention to this one. And it was a good one. So I'm excited to get two games today. But I love this part of the year where, it's only the good teams left.
You are right about that. Quick reminder, today's show is presented to you by SeatGeek, and I want you to run over, download the SeatGeek app if you don't already have it, because you can go save 10% on your next purchase. You just have to use the code JOHNBOYPostseason. That's all one word, all caps. That is JOHNBOYPostseason. So whether you are a first-time customer or a returning customer, go get your baseball playoff tickets, your NFL, your college football, soon to be your NBA, your NHL, your concert tickets, whatever it is. Just save 10% using that code, and off you go. And don't forget, once again, Friday show, we will have our SeatGeek question of the week. So get your best, most creative questions in by Thursday night. We can pick a winner. You will get a $1,000 credit to use on the SeatGeek app. We start off with a tip of the cap to Alyssa Nakken. Last 4 years, she has spent as a San Francisco Giants assistant coach. She reportedly just became the first woman to ever interview for a big league managerial job. So we wish her the best of luck in that endeavor. Obviously, it would make monumental history if she were to get the job replacing Gabe Kapler out there in San Francisco. It was nice to see. You've heard nothing but amazing things about her work on that coaching staff. And so I think it's great for her to get the experience of interviewing for the job, and we'll see if she gets it.
I've heard of 3 people interviewing for the job so far, and I'm stoked for all of them. Alyssa, obviously, that's great. It's an awesome story, and her, blazing the trails would be quite the story. Kai Correa, Gabe Kapler's mini-me, kind of.
Right.
Just in looks. We have fun with that. He gets an interview, and then also Stephen Vogt, too, which will be interesting. I think any 3 of those people would be great additions to the staff or to promotion to the managerial position.
To leading the staff. Yep. We'll keep our eye on that. In the meantime, the LCSs got underway yesterday, at least one of them down in Houston. The battle of the state of Texas for a berth in the World Series. And it ended something like this.
Astros down to their last strike. Leclerc's 3-2 pitch. Got him! And the Texas Rangers keep on rolling with game 1 in the championship series, 2-0 over the Astros.
So Jordan Montgomery and 3 relievers combined to shut out the Astros. Montgomery has been a huge deadline deal acquisition. How surprising has his dominance been?
Pretty surprising, to be honest with you. I mean, you go into Houston and shut him down the way that he did. I'm surprised when any pitcher is able to do that. I mean, I don't know if you saw his pitches to Yordan Alvarez, but it was about as good as you can do to silence his bat. Kyle Tucker as well. So he went in there and did his job, and this Texas Rangers starting pitching staff is carried the burden, and they've just gone deep into games, and they've allowed Bochy to go to his most trusted relievers, and it's worked out. This isn't this big bashing Texas Rangers team. At least it wasn't last night. It was pitching and defense. Evan Carter coming up with massive plays. First inning against Bregman, 8th inning against Bregman. The guy was all over the place, plus having really good at bats. This is a team that's just playing very fundamentally sound baseball. And when you get starts like that from Jordan Montgomery, I mean, look, you get one start like that, it's awesome. But now that's in the Astros' mind. Hey, we're going to have to face this guy again. And you know what he just did to us. There was nothing in the middle of the plate. He left us, trying to, get any scraps that he left for us over the plate. And there wasn't a lot. So nobody got to eat in that Astros lineup when Montgomery was on the mound. He's been super impressive. And then you think about the fact that he's just been kind of traveling Yankees to Cardinals to the Rangers. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to people, but it is a lot. Changing that many organizations in this short of time. and being able to still perform at that level during the playoffs, I think is awesome. So he deserves all the credit in the world. But I think this Rangers team is showing they're more than just like a legit offense. They're playing very, very good baseball right now.
I think if you were to ask the national perception of Jordan Montgomery, even within the last 12 months, you'd look at his stats and you'd be like, innings eater. Like that's what he's good for, because he makes every start. If you go back to 2020, even in the pandemic shortened season, where I think he made 10 starts, the guy, he doesn't miss time. So he is dependable to have every 5 days. And we have talked a lot on this show about how important that is to get through a regular season and be able to say, we can depend on that dude every 5 days. He has taken it to another level. And in fact, I would say, Plouffe, that out of the upcoming free agents, he has helped himself more financially than just about anybody out there. I will listen to the argument, certainly for Blake Snell. I put Ohtani in just a different category because he's a one-off. He's a unicorn. He's a freak. But I'm talking about guys who you just look at and you say, okay, well, you're not a once-in-a-115-year player like Ohtani is. That guy, because if he had been a free agent, let's say last year, after his term with the Cardinals, you would have said, okay, what's he get? Maybe 3 years and $40 million. He's going to get way more than that now.
100%. I'm on Yankees Twitter. I'm not on Yankees Twitter, but I follow a lot of Yankees Twitter.
You're inundated by it.
These guys are all over Cashman for some remarks that he made, in 2022. Basically saying
the fastball doesn't play. Yeah.
He's not going to be on the postseason roster, so he's not going to be part of our team anymore. And then look what he just did to the Houston Astros. I mean, I love the glow. I love the glow up. You know what? I don't know if Montgomery gives a shit about what Cashman said. I don't know, but it might have fueled him. And now I guarantee he's looking back being like, that was a dumb thing to say.
So Montgomery, I went back and I counted the numbers. Yordan Alvarez had, I think, a half dozen times this year, maybe a little more, where he struck out 3 times in a game, but it wasn't all by a single pitcher.
Yeah.
Until last night. To me, that caught my eye. I was like, man, I wonder how much that's happened. And I didn't want to go back for his entire career. I was just too damn tired to look at every 3 strikeout game of his career, but I did it for this season. And Montgomery's the only pitcher who struck him out 3 times this year, not the team.
Go to my Twitter. There's a thread on there, and it shows Montgomery and the game day, the pitch locations and the speeds and the sequencing. Go check it out and just kind of follow along with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. I do want to talk to you about the Altuve play. We spent obviously a ton of time on Bryce Harper at the end of game 2 against the Braves and what happened. This is obviously a different situation. It didn't end the game. This one, though, he didn't go too far past second base. He just failed to retouch it. And by the way, how is the second base umpire? He originally called him safe. He was like, no. He went back and touched it. Isn't that umpire's only job to look at second base on that play?
He wasn't even looking. He just was safe. I don't know. Yeah, he was supposed to be looking at the play. There's so much to unpack here. I want to start with Evan Carter because I think he deserves it more than anybody. If you look right here, when he's going back, right where it juts back past the Crawford boxes, there's the expanded warning track there. That just plays such a weird part for outfielders because they're used to 2 steps in the wall. And you can see he's trying to find the wall back there. Never finds it because it's just a long, elongated warning track there. So, he doesn't have that. He's not comfortable there, obviously. But he goes and makes the catch. He just finds a way to make that catch. This guy's 21 years old, Chris. 21 years old. And he's making plays like this. That's a massive play. And you could say, oh, he should have got back. It should have been routine. Fuck that, dude. That is a difficult play in the postseason, navigating a weird, tricky area of a field that, he's played at a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is that his first game in Houston?
No, what he said was he walked the outfield with Robbie Grossman, who's played there an awful lot. And he said that was a huge part of his day because he just hadn't been there.
So that was his first game in Houston.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, I know you walk and you take BP and you're fielding fly balls and all this stuff, but we can't understate how important that play was and how impressive it was for Carter. As far as Altuve, Here's what I think happened. I think he got to the base, and I feel like he thought he was just on the base and never passed it. But he did go past it, and then it did not touch it. So a base running mistake by him. And a lot of Houston people on my Twitter were saying, it's not very infrequent, or it's not infrequent for him to make base running mistakes, which I didn't really know about Jose Altuve.
I didn't either. Didn't think that. All right, so game 2 will be a day game. It's Eovaldi against Framber. How close to a must-win is this for the home team?
Pretty close to a must-win, although they played such good ball on the road. They're .630 winning percentage on the road, and I don't think they're afraid of any challenge. I don't think they would. I mean, they would care if they lost tonight's game, but I don't think it would mean that the series is over. Not with this Houston Astros team, but if you're really breaking down and the numbers and statistically, if you go down 2-0, it's not a good thing for you. So, I would say it's I'm so bad at percentages. 80% must win. I have no idea what that means.
Okay, 80%, but that's fine. That's about where I'm living, maybe a little bit less than that. I was thinking low to mid 70s. Framber had an interesting year against the Rangers. He had one game where he pitched really well and went 7 innings. In the other 2, it just wasn't good. In fact, his overall numbers against them, let's see where I put them. I think he gave up 12 runs in 16 1/3. He went 1-2 against Texas. More importantly, he's going against Nathan Eovaldi, who you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy who's been better in the postseason than him this year. He's had 2 starts, 15 strikeouts, no walks, 2 runs in 13 2/3 against Tampa Bay and Baltimore. Pretty good. He also went 7 shutout against Houston in July. That was pre-injury. Post-injury, he made his return against the Astros, and he just wasn't ready. He only lasted an inning and a third. He gave up 2 homers to Altuve. So Altuve was the first guy he faced that day and the last guy he faced. Both guys are going to remember that. Maybe Eovaldi will learn from it. I don't know. But it is – I'm no math major here. Houston will have to win a game at home if it wants to advance to the World Series, correct?
That is true. You got it, bro. You got it, bro.
So it's not a must win, but I would say that either games 2, 6, or 7 are must wins. One of those 3.
I like that. I want someone who watches this show to help us out here. I want to know what the Astros record is when Altuve reaches base his first at bat versus when he does not reach base his first at bat.
Wow, interesting.
So if anybody wants to look that up, please do. I just feel like that's like the first inning against these Astros is so important. If you can navigate it and get out of it without giving up any runs, and preferably maybe allowing 1 base runner so you get through that first 4 of Altuve, Bregman, Jordan, and Tucker. Yeah. If you can get through that with no runs, I feel like you can breathe, and breathing is important in life.
Thanks for letting us know about that.
People have said that, yeah.
All right. If you have buddies that you want to get a gift for, or somebody in your family, you're like, my God, they've got everything. What the heck do I get them? Go get them this. Mova globes. It makes rotating globes. They are constantly in motion and powered by ambient light. Like Plouffe tried to put it under some sort of like McDonald's, heat lamp or something that they put your chicken nuggets under, and it doesn't work. It's not going to do it. It's going to be ambient light. So you put it on a windowsill. You put it near the window. Let the natural light take over. Now, there are actually hidden magnets in this thing that provide the movements. What does that mean? There's no batteries you got to keep buying. There's no cords that make the thing look ugly. It just sits on this pretty little stand, right? That's clear. And it can just be – I have sat here, stared at it for 10 minutes straight, and it just makes my day feel better. Like I feel centered again. It's available in over 40 designs and includes sports, world maps, outer space, famous artwork, and more. It's an officially licensed MLB partner, so Mova is proud to present the unique baseball memorabilia. It's perfect for the classic baseball collectible enthusiasts and devoted fans out there. Right now, they've got 6 different teams represented. It's got the Dodgers, Cubs, Giants, Astros, Red Sox, and Yankees. However, next season, all 30 teams will be there for your Mova globes. So enjoy 10% off all officially licensed MLB Mova globes. Yes, you have a question?
No, I'm just going to add to the ad read whenever you want to tap me in.
Well, go ahead and do it now.
I I didn't think I was going to like a globe. I was like, I don't know about this thing. Like, what are we doing here? And now that I have it, it's awesome. And you know, I don't say that about everything.
You're right. You don't.
So that's it's a glowing endorsement for me. I really enjoy my MOBA globe.
So enjoy 10% off of all officially licensed MLB MOBA globes when you use the code BT10. That is BT10. Go order your globes now. Click the link in the description. Off you go. Off we go to the NLCS, which gets started tonight in the city of brotherly love. Now, remember last week we broke down the ALCS by a sliding scale of 1 to 5. We're going to do it again. So 5, the statement is spot on, 100% accurate. 1, Rose, why the hell did you even ask me the question? Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
First question, or statement, I should say. Corbin Carroll is actually more important to Arizona this series than Bryce Harper is to Philadelphia.
I'm going to say, I think in my head originally I would have said like 4, but I'm going to bring it down to like a 2, because just like in Philadelphia, there's a huge supporting cast around Carroll, and they've been going off this entire postseason. Moreno's been having a great postseason. He's going to be back for the CS. Thank goodness. We want to see this guy playing ball in the postseason. Christian Walker has done an excellent job in the postseason, and you can kind of go up and down. You have JT Realmuto talking about how long this lineup is, and that is not something coming into the playoffs I would have expected. So, like, yes, Corbin Carroll is very important. We know what he does at the top of the lineup. He's a very dynamic player, but I think these Diamondbacks are more than just him, just like the Phillies are more than just Harper. Now, they are the superstars, center stage type guys, but it takes more than them to win a series, especially when you get to the CS, especially when the way these two teams are playing. So I'm going to bring it down to a 2 and say they're about equal, to be honest with you. They're very important to their teams, but there's a nice surrounding cast around both these guys.
So I tested out this statement with Brady, right?
Okay.
And I said, grade the statement. He's like, you're an idiot. Like, why would you even say that? I was like, which is why I'm going to give it a 4, because I'm going to run opposite of the thoughts of my 18-year-old. I do honestly believe it. We've talked about Corbin Carroll. We talked about it before the Milwaukee series, when I think I asked the question about what's the most important thing in this series. I said, don't look too far in front of your face. The answer's right there. It's Corbin Carroll. And I am a firm believer in that. Not only because he hits at the top of the lineup, he just provides a different spark than anybody else in that lineup. And I know that you've said, much like Philadelphia, there is a ton of mashers, guys that can really get it done. However, in addition to Bryce Harper, who's got an over 1,300 OPS so far in the playoffs, there's 3 other Philadelphia players that have over a 1 dotter. For Arizona, it's just Corbin Carroll, and that's it for now. Now, that could change. Are you not buying it?
I thought I saw Moreno and Walker both were 1 dot and get throughout the playoffs.
I don't think so. Go back and bring it up while I'm talking here.
Okay.
But I thought, Now, once again, I was extremely tired when I was doing the research, so maybe some of the numbers were jumping around on my eyeballs a little bit. So it is possible. But I just feel like there's a little bit more of a supporting cast in Philadelphia, and particularly when you start off on the road, I think Corbin Carroll, the Phillies have been doing the big ball celebration whenever they get on. I think Corbin Carroll's got the biggest. I'm just a big believer in him, and at age 23, I don't think anything scares him, man.
Gabriel Moreno, yes, 1.1ing it. Christian Walker, I'm getting to his page right now. I think he is also Chris. They've been hitting homers, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Walker is also 1 dotting.
So what the hell was I looking at last night when I saw that?
Maybe the regular season statistics or so. I don't know, but no, I think
right.
And the reason they're up like that is because of the slug. Like I said, these guys have been hitting homers, and I stick with my answer, Chris.
Okay.
I think they're both equally as important, but I don't think one's more than the other right now.
By the way, happy 31st birthday to Bryce Harper.
He's 31.
He is today. Does it surprise you? Did you think he was younger?
No, it seems young to me, dude. I'm sick of all these young guys. I used to love young guys. I'm getting sick of them right now because I feel old.
He's basically been in national prominence half of his life now.
I know, dude. Honestly, we don't talk enough about Bryce Harper.
Right. All right, next statement. The Diamondbacks have to win at least 2 Zach Gallen starts in order to take this series.
I'm going to go 2.5. Right in the middle. Stars. Is it
2.5 stars.
2.5 stars. I believe they need to win 3 out of 4 of Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen starts. So chop it up however you want.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be 2 Zach Gallen starts, but they need to win 3 out of those 4 and then try to catch one from Fott and whoever else they run out there to fill out their the rotation there. So I don't think that's like when you start to like break it down like that. Hey, let's win 3 out of these 4, and you got Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. Like that's not like out of the realm of possibility. Now, again, this is the vaunted Phillies lineup with that guy Bryce Harper in the middle of it, so maybe a little bit easier said than done. But I think that's the formula: win 3 out of those 4 starts.
Right. The difference is this series you're going against Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
Yes.
When you match up Gallen and Kelly, and people say, well, hold on, Clayton Kershaw was going in game 1 for the Dodgers. And I think we would all agree that at this point, Clayton Kershaw isn't the same Clayton Kershaw, although he was remarkably consistent this year. I know he had one terrible inning or 1/3 of an inning. I just don't see that happening with Zach Wheeler or Aaron Nola. Could be wrong. So I will actually say, I think it's a 4. I think they have to really do well in those 2 games that he's going to pitch. Lovello's already come out and said, we're not pitching either of those guys on short rest. Could that change if they're down 3-1 or
a little bit of pressure comes on. The vice gets a little tighter for Lovello. I think he goes to Zach and be like, hey, you mind booting up real quick, bro?
Yeah, or if we get to a game 7 and somebody...
So what is he supposed to pitch right now? Is it 1 and 5?
Yeah, Gallen would go 1 and 5 and Kelly would go 2 and 6. And so
3 for Fott and maybe 7 for Fott, or all hands on deck for 7?
Yeah, I mean, it's always all hands on deck. It's just a question of who gets the start. For me, the interesting thing is going to be game 4. Yeah, for both teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the Phillies...
Well, you have Taiwan at least, somebody that's stretched out.
Yes, but somebody who hasn't pitched in weeks.
Yeah, when is the last time he's pitched?
I don't know. At least we saw Michael Lorenzen in the last series.
Yeah. I mean, Phillies probably have the advantage in that aspect. I think they have a few more guys kind of like stretched out that maybe you'd be more comfortable with throwing.
Totally. Yeah, that's 100% accurate, but we'll get to that when we have to get to it. By the way, Gallen, who grew up not far from Philly in New Jersey, across the river there, 5 career starts against the Phillies, 3-1 at 2.22. Your next statement: even though more playoff tested, Phillies bullpen is less dependable than Arizona's.
1.
So you're not buying it at all?
I'm not buying it at all. I actually think both these bullpens are firing, and they're both very dependable right now. So I just don't really agree with that statement. I think the fact that they're battle tested and have been around a little bit longer, definitely leans, for me to rather have that bullpen in the game than the Diamondbacks. But that being said, the Diamondbacks bullpen has been great. My guy Kevin Ginkel, who him and I are Instagram friends now, so that's awesome. Has been awesome. Torrey's really done a good job of getting these guys in the correct lanes for them to have success. But I don't really. If you're asking me to pick one of these bullpens to like be secure with, I'd have a hard time, but I'd probably lean Phillies. So I'm going to give it a 1.
Okay. I'll make it a 2 because I do believe in Philly. This is interesting. I went through, and once again, my stats are way off today. I think I did the show feeling like I was drunk yesterday. So I don't know if you all want to double check me. I'll be the first to admit that I fucked all this up. But Arizona, according to my eyes last night, Ginkel, Southrank, Sewald, Mantiply haven't given up a run yet in the playoffs. But for Philly, I was like, wow, that's good. Then that's really going to make my answer stand until I looked at Phillies. Kerkering, Dominguez, Alvarado, Kimbrel, and Strom hadn't given up a run. So
those are the guys that are going to pitch. All guys that you just mentioned right there are like, that's the pitchers. Those are the guys. That's it, yeah.
Although Hoffman obviously gave up the home run to Austin Riley. You're going to see him quite a bit. And who was it? The guy, oh my God, I'm blanking. The guy who came over from Tampa Bay, who got released for Arizona. Yeah, Thompson.
He's nasty, too.
Pitched really well. He had one outing, I think, against the Dodgers where he got knocked around a little bit. But I think both those teams should feel
ogre Ryan Thompson. Good. My gosh.
Last one here. Last statement. Philly fan, of course, known to travel quite a bit. So Arizona should worry about the Phillies fans taking over their home for the middle 3 games of this series, if there are 3.
They'll definitely be there. There's no doubt. I just went to a Rams-Eagles game, and it was all Eagles fans. So Phillies fans do travel. I know that. And, there's a bunch of retirees probably living in the Arizona area or the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. So I think they'll be there, but I wouldn't worry about them taking over the venue. And if you want to shut the visiting crowd up, you know what you do? Go out and score first. So, 1.5.
I'm going to put it in the middle.
Okay.
I think a Philly fan might show up. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to really see how much the Dodger fans, because in years past, they have shown up quite a bit. I'm guessing that any Dodgers fans that were on the fence about driving to Arizona probably rethought it after being down 2-0.
Yeah.
If you're going to close it out or something, or if it were 1-1, maybe you'd go. Down 2-0, you're like, we'll watch it on TV and save the dough.
Can I just give a suggestion to anybody that's out there thinking about going to Scottsdale?
Yes.
Just go. It's fun. Just go.
Well, it's mid-October. It's still probably
Perfect.
Boiling out there.
No, this is a great time to go.
Okay. Usually November is when I would start dipping my toe in the Arizona pool. Okay. We woke up Monday morning. There was a little bit of breaking news in the baseball world and somewhat surprising. Kim Ng out as the general manager and president of baseball ops down there in Miami. The team picked up her option. She said, I will pass on my option. Thank you very much. How surprised are you about this?
I mean, I'm not like super into, what's going on in front offices all around baseball. I think a lot of that happens behind closed doors. I was pretty surprised. This is the first year that they've really had some success, and it looked like, the franchise is in a perfect position to go pounce and like kind of restock their roster. And, they have the things that you want in a team that could be competitive for many years to come. They just have to go out there and address, some free agency, and they need to do some things, but they're in a good position. But if you're Kim Ng and you don't have an extension and it's just a mutual option for 1 year, I could see how you could say no to that, especially if you get with, the people that are making decisions. And there was a quote. I mean, she put out a statement saying that they weren't aligned in the where they wanted to go as far as the baseball operations department of the organization. If you have a 1-year deal, what do you call it? A lame duck? Isn't that what you say?
Mm-hmm.
If you got a lame duck contract, you're not aligned with, what the vision is for the baseball operations department, get out of town. She's going to be a hot commodity somewhere, whether that's, I don't know if she's going to maybe interview for the Red Sox job. I don't think she'd want to go to the Mets because like it's a Stearns thing and you're second fiddle if you play GM over there. So we'll see where she ends up, but I don't fault her for leaving, but I was surprised. I didn't really know any of this was going on behind the scenes.
I imagine there's a few GMs that are kind of shaking in their boots today who thought that who thought that they had pretty good standing with their organization. But you have to pay attention to what she's done, right? She's been through some monumental shifts down there because Derek Jeter left a couple seasons ago. We know that their payroll isn't enormous, and the division they're in is really tricky to navigate. And she helped build a team.
She navigated
Skip
that
Schumacher,
shit, dude.
That got to the playoffs for the first time in 20 years when they played a full season schedule, right? The Marlins made it in the pandemic shortened season. That was 60 games. Here they played a full 162 and they got there. And they got there when some of their best players weren't available down the stretch as well. So good for her. She pulled off a couple, I thought, of really interesting trades that helped bolster their offense. And there's going to be some teams, I think, that talk to her. And I think she's going to get a great job. I don't even know if it'll be this offseason. I would imagine it would be. I think that Red Sox opportunity would be very enticing for her to take over a historic franchise like that. But she's going to be asking all the right questions of Red Sox brass.
It's going to be tough for me because I kind of want Sam Fold to go in there and get that job. And who do I root for in that situation?
Oh, don't you have a personal relationship with Sam?
Yeah, we had a handshake together. He had a big old head that's shaped like a submarine, kind of. So we used to do like this periscope thing. It was awesome, man. Sam's great.
There's nothing wrong with rooting for him to get the job and wanting good things for Kim Ng too.
Who knows? Maybe she'll just go and do media or something. Maybe she's sick of the day-to-day
totally
grind.
Could.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot.
Hey, I'll tell you something that
you know, Kim Ng, get out of media. We don't need you here. Don't be trying to take my job. You're too good.
She's not going to take your job.
She's not going to come on this show.
She doesn't want to work here. Not with us. Not with us. She might want to do something cool with like Jake, but not with the two of us.
Maybe me, but maybe not you.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. All right, before we get out of here, really interesting clip on social media is I was like, what is going on here? It's just a bunch of young guys against a pitching machine, setting it at a higher and higher speed, and they're just taking intentional hit by pitches. Like it goes from 65 to 75 to 85, and it climbs into the 90s. Did you think this was funny or totally ridiculous?
I love it. I thought it was awesome, especially when they start to get the velo up there a little bit. And then you start to see the real grimaces. Hey, man, that's ball right there. And these guys are bracing for impact. Just go up there, actually trying to hack, and then all of a sudden the ball coming at, letter high at you or hitting you in the ribs is a whole different story. But that's my favorite one right there. He was so scared to get hit by the ball, he basically jumped out of the way, man. It's not fun. I think a lot of people should have to go do this just to experience it one time. I'd love to see you strap it up and get in there and take 93 to the chest.
Hey, have I ever said that baseball's easy or like, God, why do you suck?
No. To your credit, you have not.
Never. No. I've never been that guy, in part because I remember I was in 8th grade when I started to get scared of the baseball. Kids started throwing harder, and I was like, I don't know if I can stand in here. So that's the time where it sucks.
This is dangerous. I broke a rib taking 96 to the ribs. Like they need to watch out a little bit. Husker Yanoa.
Former Brave?
Well, actually, I don't know if it was him. It was a Yanoa. Maybe it wasn't Michael Yanoa, maybe.
What
We've
really good
about
pitcher
this, man.
hit you hard?
Craig Kimbrell nailed me. That hurt. When he was with the Braves, he nailed me, dude. That was probably my worst one. Oh, no, right. Well, Yanoa broke my ribs, so that was my worst one.
Did you know they were broken immediately?
No, I played 4 days after that. Took Michael Perez up top, Oppo at target field. Justin Morneau also told me that it was on purpose, so now I hate that guy. And anyone affiliated with the White Sox. Yes.
Why would somebody hit you? You're like nice.
I guess Trevor May hit Jose Abreu. This was the answer. I was just up at the right time.
Oh, so I got to get
a lineup in the Twins at the time.
I got to get on May a little bit for that.
Yeah. Cost me millions, Chris.
Millions. Okay. Don't forget to get your SeatGeek question of the weekend by Thursday night so you can reap the rewards and use $1,000 credit on the SeatGeek app. Enjoy your doubleheader in the LCS world today. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, and the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday on Baseball Today.